This episode of the ZuLoo Poodcast is sponsored by Zulu Inc., a benefit corporation dedicated to the goal of universal access to toilets, hygiene, clean water and sanitation through the power of social enterprise. Learn more at ZuLoo.com.
And I'm standing there in the middle of,
in the heat.
And the nearest person that I see is my sister on the other side of a bridge. And I'm like...
And you're trying to flag her down.
And so I'm like, what do I do? And it's getting worse. It's not stopping. And finally, my brother pulled up. And I was so embarrassed. I told him that I had started my period and needed to go back to the hotel. 45 minutes later, I show back up and he's like, where the heck have you been?
You're like, listen.
It was a disaster.
Welcome to the ZuLoo Poodcast, where we talk all things poop, toilets, and sanitation. Through insightful news, impact stories, and quirky humour, we aim to discuss and highlight the critical role toilets play in whisking poop out of our lives, the impact toilets have, or lack thereof, in the health and wellness of humanity, and what Zulu is doing to help solve the current global sanitation crisis.
Hey everyone, we are so glad that you've decided to join us here at the ZuLoo Poodcast, and we are sitting down with the lovely Suzanne. I love this lip color, by the way. That's really beautiful. I just noticed.
Valentine's.
Oh, it is very Valentine's-y. Good for you. And you are also in kind of a Valentine's. And so am I. Oh my gosh, guys.
It worked out.
We all got the memo.
Yes. Well done. I'm so impressed with all of us. We are on the same level this morning. All right. This is one of those, not totally rare opportunities, but special opportunities where we get to sit with someone in person.
And
we are so grateful to have Lynette Bullock here today, and she is going to tell us all about the skin candy. And if you can see all of these really, really cute little products that we're going to get into, if you guys could smell how yummy it smells right now in the studio, it is like
candy.
It is like candy. It's candy for your body, for your skin. So Lynette, welcome. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be fun. I can tell. I mean, we're already jiving.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lynette, tell us a little bit about yourself and lead us into how you, became the, hang on, I want to get it right, the founder, master maker, do all everything of the skin candy.
Entrepreneur
extraordinaire.
Yes, that's all. It's really tiny font on my
your business card.
Yeah. Because you can't fit it all on.
Yeah. So I was born in Idaho, raised in Utah. In a little teeny tiny small town called Loa, about 300 people. And
I just went there for the first time a few months ago.
Really? Isn't it amazing?
It's beautiful.
It's so pretty. I love it there. Lived there until I graduated high school, and it pretty much hasn't grown since I was young. It still only has about 300 people.
That's rare these days.
Is it central or south, or where is it?
It's about south. It's about 45 minutes south of Richfield.
Okay.
And if you go to Capitol Reef National Park, you have to drive through Loa to get there.
Oh, wow.
So my parents, my dad was an entrepreneur from my whole life. Mm-hmm. He was a construction worker. When we moved to Utah, he started working at his parents' store, took that over. And at 9 years old, I started working at the store. So I got a real good taste of retail and working and being self-employed and schedules and employees. And I went to college in a couple of places in Utah and then met my husband at a bar. People, especially at church, story. When people say, where did you meet your husband? And at church, I'm like, well,
we met at an eating institution.
No, own it. I love it. You guys are getting after it.
And I love it. And something told me I was going to marry him. And 6 months later, we were married. He was in the military. We moved to Virginia. And that's kind of where I started I worked for companies, but never really liked it. Kind of started my entrepreneur life working for several direct sales MLM companies. Had 3 children. I am now a married grandma, still married to the same guy, almost 33 years.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
And my children are all grown. I have 5 grandchildren now. They're the smartest, best things that's ever happened to me.
Of course.
So how we actually started the skin candy was my daughter was pregnant with her first child. And we were renting a house at the time, building a new home, and we were living in a place that had no soft water. It was just hard water. Yeah. First world problems, And she and I both suffer with eczema. And I've suffered with it my entire life. In fact, when I was born, I was adopted, and they actually couldn't put me up for adoption because I had eczema so bad they had to get it under control. So it was just one of those things I've suffered with my entire life and never could really find a lot of relief. So my daughter she's really short, she's very petite, and she's not, her abdomen's very tiny. And so everything was forward, and she would suffer with horrible back and sciatica pain. And she would come home every night, she would soak in the tub, and she was spending about $60 a week at a very popular bath place. We won't say names, but it was Luscious. Okay. So, but she would notice that her skin was drying out and cracking. And one day she came to me and she said, Mom, I think we're smart enough that we could figure out how to make a bath bomb.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how the idea was born. That actually started in 2016. We kind of messed around with a bunch of different recipes and went from there. We had so many bath bombs that we had made that we actually put them on Facebook yard sale and sold some at Christmas, December of 2016. And then my grandson was born. My daughter lived with us, kind of put it on the back burner. And then that following December, people started contacting us.
They wanted a refill. On
And they're like, where are these bath bombs? And so January of 2018, I signed up as a business, and we got our name, The Skin Candy, and it was born then. And we opened up our website and sat there and watched as no sales came in, and we couldn't figure out why. And we started doing, and we just we just grew from there. We started out with bath bombs and then body butter. If you live in Utah, you have dry skin.
Always.
And one of our big things is that we wanted skincare products that would work with your skin, that you could use and afford, that people would want to use and be able to afford it. I feel like we have a high-end boutique vibe with our product. We're in about 13 locations in Utah now, maybe more. I'd have to do a math. And we're about 60 locations nationwide.
That's awesome.
So we're just growing slowly but surely. Last year we branched out and started doing our brand, working on our own brand instead of doing a lot of wholesale.
And how we, just to kind of circle back a little bit, how we learned about you is that Darren, our CEO, was given this as a gift for Christmas. And these are they're the Toilet Fizzies.
Yes, Toilet Fizzies.
Of course, we're all about toilets.
Fizzies.
So, yes.
So what happened with that, how that came about is I was making bath bombs, doing some research, and was doing a lot of research on toxins. Our skin is the largest organ in our body, and it absorbs a lot. Next to the mucous membranes, it is the second thing that absorbs everything, your toxins from the air, from your products you use. And toilet cleaners are the most toxic cleaner on the market. They are so toxic. And we had just gotten a dog, and this dog had basically taught herself to get water. She would get it from the toilet. And one night I woke up and heard her drinking out of the toilet, and my husband had put one of those Clorox drops in the back.
Oh, no.
Panicked. I got up. I was so scared that she was going to be...
A lot of dogs do that.
And so I was like, I want to formulate something that's going to help clean, but it's non-toxic. It smells good.
Yeah.
And so I started formulating this Toilet Fizzy. Everything we do is formulated for almost a year, 6 months to a year.
And it says here, it's safe for all septic symptoms, which is very important.
So everything in there, we have in there is your everyday stuff. Your dogs or cats could drink out of the toilet. They're not going to like it. And I tell people it's a great training tool to keep them from doing it.
But if they do get it, it's not going to...
It won't hurt them. You can get it on your skin. It's not going to burn you. It's not going to itch. It's just an easy rinse off. You just drop one in the toilet. You don't put it in the tank. You actually put it in the bowl, and you let it fizz and foam. And it helps break down like calcium buildup or like the ring around the toilet.
And the smell.
Yeah, and it smells really good.
Smell really good.
We call it our after Mexican food bathroom refreshener.
Perfect. That says it all.
Yeah,
right?
and it's
Wives' Valentine's is coming up.
Yes.
Yeah,
We've got the
so
perfect gift
after
for
that
you.
big
You can go
steak
for Mexican
dinner,
and then you'll have...
So yeah, we love it. I tell people all the time, if you don't have time to clean your bathroom, drop one in, and it helps freshen the bathroom.
Yeah, that's really nice.
We use 100% essential oils in them. So this has got like a lemon 5-fold, so it's a really strong lemon. You're welcome to open
really
it up.
strong.
It's not. Yeah, I was gonna say you probably don't even open it up, but
No, you don't. It's almost like a scratch and sniff, but it does smell very fresh. It doesn't smell artificial and like over the top.
Yeah. So you just drop one in and just let it sit.
I want to eat it.
And I tell people
Like the
it
lemon
doesn't
drop.
physically clean your toilet. You do have to put a brush in there.
Okay.
But but no, don't. Well, you could. It would.
I'm not going to choke and die. But
you might start foaming at the mouth.
It does all that calcium in your mouth.
That's right.
Yeah, it does have the baking soda and the citric acid in it. So, you're baking.
So it's not antibacterial. You still need to use an antibacterial product on your, is that what I heard you say?
It is not antibacterial. It's just for the toilet bowl itself. So you do still need, you still need to,
Brush
clean
it
brush it and clean it, flush it, and then use a rag with your antibacterial products on the seat and the, and around the bowl. But for the inside, it's great.
So if I drop it into, it's going in the bowl, not the tank. And then as soon as someone flushes, does it how long does it linger, I guess?
It will stay in there as long as you have not flushed the toilet.
Yeah.
So once you flush the toilet, it's gone. It's just kind of a one-time thing.
It's kind of a refresher.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll pop one in. A lot of times I'll pop one in like first thing in the morning. And then I just let it sit there. Or when I'm getting ready to clean my bathroom, I drop one in, and I clean my whole bathroom and let it, and then I'll scrub the toilet, and then I let it sit there. I'll just let it sit there until somebody uses the bathroom. And then when they flush, it's,
Yeah.
So good. It really does smell like a lemon drop. Exactly.
It does. I know. Takes me back to my childhood. I used to ride my bicycle to go buy the lemon.
We used to go to the IFA, the little local feed and seed, to get that lemon drops. Yep.
Yeah.
Shows our age.
It does show our age, doesn't it?
I don't know that I've come across a product like this in
know.
all of our, there's so much innovation in the toilet space, but I think this is the first one we've come across that you put in the bowl as kind of a refresher. It's almost like, I know this isn't the point, but almost kind of like poopery. I assume it's like you said, it's the after a wild night at whatever restaurant. It's going to help freshen the place up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do want to give us some time to get into our toilet recipient story.
Yes.
And so let's dive into that.
Saraswathi hails from Andhra, India, and presently resides in the Ilaya colony, slum community of Hyderabad. Her family migrated to Hyderabad in search of work. Her husband works as a mason. She has 2 young daughters. Saraswathi shared with us a bitter experience she and one of her daughters faced while attempting to find a place to answer nature's call. While they were out in search of a place near the city dump to relieve themselves, a drunken man started following them, uttering vulgar comments. When she turned to confront him, the man removed his pants and made obscene gestures towards them. After fleeing in terror back to their village, her daughter was so frightened that she refused to leave their humble home afterwards for over a week, despite the stomach pains of holding everything in. Saraswathi eventually decided to leave her child at her grandparents' home, as it was affecting her daughter's health with constipation and bowel-related problems. Now that she has a Zulu toilet, her daughter has returned and is able to enjoy the safety and privacy it provides.
That's really hard to hear.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It is.
Like, this is something that we, I'm assuming none of us have ever experienced that.
I can't even relate to it, really. I mean, the idea of not being able to help your child is one of the most painful experiences any parent, mother or father. But,
and you and I both have 2 girls. Like, I'm just like, you're out there and you have your 2 girls and they're trying to relieve yourselves. And then you have this drunk man. Like, I mean, just how.
There's a safety issue here. There's obviously health concerns. I mean, the fact that they had to walk away from their village to go take care of this. There's so many things here that I can't imagine having to work into daily life of just living.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard to hear. Which is, and on the flip side of that, how wonderful now that this is no longer a factor for them and it isn't a constant concern.
Yeah.
Having to send your daughter away to go live with grandma and grandpa because she's having,
Anxiety
problems
and stomach
anxiety.
problems. And I know. It's just one of those things where it's like, we just are so blessed. And that's why I'm so passionate about Zulu, because in some little small way, I can maybe help, improve the life of someone. And when we've heard other recipient stories, it's amazing because they'll talk about how, like now, I mean, some of them have to walk and it literally takes 2-3 hours of their day. And so then when they receive it, it like just opens up so much. They can get so much more done. They can have time with their family. It changes their dynamics economically because then they can work instead of having to, can you imagine if you had to take 3 to 4 hours out of your day just so you could go to the bathroom.
To constantly find a safe place.
Scheduling.
Yeah. I mean,
having small children, cleaning, cooking, nursing, whatever, and having to schedule time to go to the bathroom.
Well, and
we
guess
don't even
what?
think about that.
No,
Bladders
never.
and bowels don't work on a schedule. Like, so you could, it would be so hard. You couldn't plan it and say, okay, guys, at 10 o'clock, we're going to take, a 20-minute walk to the restroom.
So hopefully you won't wet your pants before we get there.
Right.
And before I was introduced to Zulu, which I am so grateful that I have been introduced to this, I knew I've never been outside of the country. I've never been to a foreign country. I've been to Mexico and Canada, and that's pretty much it. I've lived
Arizona.
Arizona. Yeah. Oh,
we're not considering Arizona a foreign country.
We just spoke about how we know the Native American Indians there have horrible facilities.
They don't have access to water. A lot of them don't have access to water on the reservations, but that's probably a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But just in these other countries, I know that there's poverty. I know that it exists, but not having a bathroom was not something I had actually even really ever thought of. And just listening to some of the stories, it just kind of broke my heart. It just, I kept thinking, what can I do? What can we do as Americans, our first world problems,
I know.
Well, we try to make it easy for people. You can visit the Zulu marketplace.
And you can go donate.
Yes, and you can donate because we are so far removed from it here in the States that, you hear about things and you think, oh man, I can't even imagine. But you don't really know what that's like on a day-to-day basis. And thinking about these very, just normal human functions. And then it goes into like, well, what could I possibly do? And, that's one of the things we try to do here at Zulu is give people a place where they can do something and they will make a difference. And we can have more stories like this that are changing people's lives on the other side of the world.
So something I would like to do, if it's okay, is that I would love to be able to donate all of my proceeds for the month of February.
Okay.
For anybody who purchases the Toilet Fizzies.
Oh, you guys, did you hear that?
So we will, at the end of the month, we will bring you guys a check.
Okay.
We do have them available online. We are available in a lot of different locations in Utah County. We also, if you are local, you can purchase them online and pick up on my porch.
Aww.
But 100% of those proceeds will
So
Thank
great.
you. That is,
go to Zulu.
There were lots of reasons to buy this anyway, but now you know that money is going toward a really fantastic, wonderful cause.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Thank you
That
so
is
much.
extremely
That's so
generous.
great. That's
and
such a loving gift for
And
Valentine's Day.
Maybe we'll include a Toilet Fizzy with every toilet that's donated. I get really passionate about things, and then I tend to end up.
And then you're like, wait, that calculates that I've got to be up how much making how many?
I got to make how many batches a day?
Well, I'll come help you. So.
There you go. You guys,
we don't live too far away.
Valentine's
Yeah,
activity.
there we
Right,
go.
right.
There we go.
Well, thank you
Toilet
so
Fizzies
much.
at Net's house.
Well, with that being said, do you have a funny toilet story? Because we always like to. We've heard some doozies.
Yeah,
but-
so
We really have.
bowel things have been kind of one of those things that I've never really had a problem with. I do remember one time, my dad, construction worker, we were on a road job and we were down in Green River, Utah. And it's like 100 gazillion degrees down there in the summer. And this was before cell phones and anything like that. And so we had, I don't even remember if I even had a walkie-talkie, a radio to call anybody. And I think I'd had Mexican food the night before. And I was standing there. I was a flagger. So we had to turn the flag in when the cars came.
Okay.
And I was standing there and I thought I had to poot. And I'm standing there in the middle of,
in the heat.
And the nearest person that I see is my sister on the other side of a bridge. And I'm like,
and you're trying to flag her down.
And so I'm like, what do I do? And it's getting worse. It's not stopping. And finally, my brother pulled up and I was so embarrassed. I told him that I had started my period and needed to go back to the hotel. 45 minutes later, I show back up and he's like, where the heck have you been?
You're like, listen,
it was a disaster. Stuff went in the garbage.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. I've been there. Yeah. I've been there.
And
we've all been there.
Yeah. And so
we're like, I'm just putting this in the garbage.
This is a lost cause.
Salvaging. Yeah.
Yeah. There was no salvaging. It just went in a bag and went into the dumpster at the hotel room. And I just was so sorry for the cleaning people.
I know, right? I know.
Those people that had to
Tried to wrap it up multiple times.
That
put it in a bag,
it's not horrible, but it's not like, it was kind of embarrassing.
But it's so relatable. Those moments
is.
where the panic sets in because there is not an option anywhere nearby, and you're like, "This is not going to get better. This is going to get worse."
Yeah,
I got to come up with a plan.
And we just had the little outhouse, and it was like there's nothing in there to help you,
right?
So it was.
And then you're just and your brother, and you're just kind of going like. Looking at him like,
is he ready
I'm
for
not
this?
going to explain this to you right now. Like,
I'm sure he was like, "What is that weird smell? that doesn't smell normal."
right.
Oh
my
Lynette,
goodness.
that was a good one. Thank you. You're brave. We applaud your vulnerability. Thank you. This is a safe space.
This is a.
I hope so.
I know, right? And you're not going to tell your son-in-law, so you're out.
No, I can't. My daughter was like, which is funny because if he even watches this, he'll be like, "You did what?" She said to me yesterday. She says, "Mom, he doesn't even know I told you about it."
Oh boy!
Wow. Okay.
Well,
hey, we didn't know the story, so you don't have to worry about that. And your lips are sealed now.
But my daughter can tell a lot better. So
there we go.
Well, Lynette, thank you so much for coming to join us today. It's been really, really fun to get to know you. And thank you so much for your incredible offer. And I'm just going to say it one more time. I'm going to let you say it so I don't accidentally commit you to something you didn't say.
Right.
No, so I am going to commit all proceeds.
Okay.
So our Toilet Fizzies go for $9.99. Mm-hmm. So 100% of every sale of our Toilet Fizzies for the month of February, we will donate to Zulu.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That is really kind.
I'm going to be telling all my friends.
I know. And like,
go out and buy these.
I now expect my phone to be chiming every 5 seconds with a sale.
Awesome. Okay, perfect.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the ZuLoo Poodcast. Follow us on social media at our links in the show notes below. To learn more, visit our website, zulu.org. If you liked the podcast, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. For even more Zulu fun, send us an email with your toilet stories to podcast@zulu.com for a chance to be featured on the podcast. This episode of the ZuLoo Poodcast is sponsored by Zulu Inc., a benefit corporation dedicated to the goal of universal access to toilets, hygiene, clean water and sanitation through the power of social enterprise. Learn more at zulu.com.